How can I get inspired when I can't travel? This is a tough one because we've basically been going through this for a few years now. And for my friends that are immunocompromised, my friends who decide not to get the boosters and the shots that are so prevalent here in the United States, my folks that are just like, nah, I'm not going outside. You got my sympathy and you got my respect. There's still ways to engage with the rest of the world. And particularly, I want to say a couple of years ago when we were homeschooling the kids, not even homeschooling, virtual schooling. Like my wife and I are not homeschooling kids. It was like, no, your kids aren't coming to school. So it was more like virtual schooling. Big difference. Shout out to those of y'all who are really homeschooling. You know who you are. Hat tip to y'all. When we were going through that, it was difficult because I wanted, particularly me, I wanted to show my kids the world. And it was like, they were getting to the age where it's like, okay, we can actually travel. And it's like, no, we can't. And so I define creative ways to connect them with the rest of the world. If you're an adult or if you're an individual and don't have kids or whatever, you still could have that same feeling. Sympathy to y'all too. I know what that feels like, whether it's for you or for a loved one. You want them to travel, and it's hectic right now. So you might not be able to do that. A couple of things you can do. A cook store. St. Anthony Bourdain, miss you, love your work, huge inspiration. He passed away, I want to say 3 to 4 years ago, right before the pandemic. So I want to say like 4 years ago. I want to say like 2019. And he was instrumental as far as showing, my background is journalism, so showing what a writer can do in the creative space and how you can bring the world to someone. A cook's tour, his first major book was Kitchen Confidential. And very briefly, he was a chef in New York, picked up some rough habits along the way, but was always a great storyteller. And then he ended up doing an article for the New Yorker. If you know journalism, excuse me, or if you know media, you know New Yorker is a big deal. He did a piece for the New Yorker. And I think it was called, or at least it was implied, but I think the title was never order seafood on Monday. And it was this rule where the seafood mongers, which is what they're called, the seafood mongers don't deliver seafood on the weekend. And so if you're eating, let's say at Cioppino, shout out to San Francisco, if you're eating at Cioppino Monday for lunch, you're really eating seafood that's been there since maybe Friday. He did a whole article about these rules, and he was always very sardonic and sarcastic and cynical and funny as hell. That led to him doing a book called Kitchen Confidential, which ended up being a whole, 40,000 words about this. I like Kitchen Confidential a lot, but this was his follow-up called A Cook's Tour, where he ended up partnering, I want to say with the Travel Channel, because he worked with a lot of channels before he passed away. And I want to say it was with the Travel Channel called A Cook's Tour. And he traveled all around the world trying to find the perfect meal. And of course, it doesn't exist, but you can have perfect moments. And this is a book that's a companion to this. And we're talking about him in the present tense because his presence is still here. Fantastic writer. Those are my favorite books. I've recommended it a few times on this channel. If you want to get that energy as far as that, if you're lusting to travel and you want to vicariously connect with someone, this is the book to get it. This is not a book for kids. If y'all know Anthony Bourdain, he cursed quite a bit. If you know me personally, I curse quite a bit too. If you want to coach with me, DamonBrown.net, you can check it out. But I do curse. If that's your vibe, you would love this book. It is a classic. It stays on my shelf. In fact, I read it so much, I don't even know where it is right now. I do have a copy over there. If you want more energy and insight as far as how you can vicariously travel, if you're not able to travel, if you can't travel, if you don't want to travel, but you still want to have that travel experience, be sure and check out my live from earlier this year. I want to say March or April of this year, Travel Without Leaving Home. I talk about food products you can get, because I'm really into food. I talk about books. I talk about services and tools. I talk about websites, all these different things that can take you and your family and your loved ones on a trip without you having to leave the house. It's so important to, again, expand your mind. I'm willing to travel, but your travel doesn't have to be physical. That's why I have all these books. That's always why I'm always talking about the new authors that I find amazing here on this channel, on the Bring Your Worth TV, is because you can travel in a whole bunch of different ways. Why not grab a passport and go? If you can't physically or won't physically do it, then do it virtually. This episode will be a good step to it. Listen, it's been a lot of fun. You can catch the Bring Your Worth TV show every Wednesday and Sunday at 1:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time. You subscribe for free. And you get the complete Bring Your Worth collection. Available October 20th. It's available in 3 weeks. Depending on what retailer you get it from, including me, you might even be able to get it a little bit early. All the links are below. DameBrown.net for the signed copy. Bookshop.org, link below for the independent bookstore copies. And of course, Amazon. Shout out to y'all over on Amazon. You already have it lit up there. Till next time, remember, you can always bring your worth. You can always build from now. Take care of yourselves.